I'll be honest, it's kind of weird to see Precure actually be educational about the topics that are the theme of the season. Surprisingly enough, that doesn't happen very often. Mahalo, and welcome back to You and Idol Precure episode 18, and what an episode we got here. Look at this little episode we got in here. Oof, I think I'm gonna be in for it for the next few episodes because personally, I hate when we reach points in shows like this where like characters get reset and we have to like re-get the members to like each other despite them having friendship or romance before. I'm looking at you, Mermaid Melody Season 2. It takes some time for me to be like, oh, okay, we had a good thing going, but now it's reset. So I think these next few episodes are just gonna be rough for me. Like, I agree that story-wise, we should not rush into, like, having Puridoon have her memories back and everything. But I also don't love these mid-season cures not integrating with the group a little bit faster. Like, I didn't mind it happening in Wonderful Precure, because I think it just really made sense for Yuki and them, and the couple of episodes it took to, like, win over Yuki, and then moving into Mayu, like, that felt good because we didn't have something already. I don't like Amnesia. I think that's the real villain, is I don't like Amnesia when it's put in stories. So this episode hurt for me. But I knew it was gonna hurt, and I knew it was gonna be like this. I just gotta go with it. We do have it start off interestingly, because we see that despite having her memories gone from everything we've seen since episode 1, we do see Zakyun like the town, which I like this. She's like, oh, Hanamichi town, it's so pretty. I really like it here. This is so cool. I'm super happy to be here and doing things, which is nice. It's nice to know that Puridoon is still in there. And I think if anything, this is going to showcase what we saw as a comedic thing episodes before, but now it's going to be an emotional thing where her draw to like Uta and the others and this town and everything, she's just gonna naturally go back to the way she was, regardless of her memories being gone, because that's who Puridoon is. So what was a comedic thing where Metadon was like, Puridoon, don't roll into bed with Uta the way you keep doing? Now we get to see it be serious. And to be honest, I liked it comedic, and I don't want it to be serious because this is going to hurt my feelings. But I'm honestly, I don't think I'm gonna hate Zakyun's personality. I think the only thing that I don't know that I care for with Zakyun is she seems more passive than Puridoon. Like, Puridoon seemed to be like, I'm gonna do what I want to do today, and then Metadon kind of just got dragged along, which is what really sold that comedic dynamic to me, and I didn't mind Metadon constantly trying to thwart Puridoon being friends with everybody else. And I just don't know how with her being more passive, which I'm hoping she gets a backbone a little bit more as these episodes come out. Because I really just don't love her doing whatever Metadon tells her to do here. Which we do come to Kiss, where I'm like, now I'm conflicted, because I'm like, up until now, again, Metadon has been kind of a roadblock in a comedic way, and has not been super successful with kind of not meshing with the team. And now she's very pretty, and I love her design, and she's sassy, but now she's turning into the character that I hate. She's turning into the character that is being a roadblock, that is being more genuinely mean to the girls, and they can't be like, oh, look at you being mean, but you're a cute, marketable plushie. Now it's like you're being mean and you're mature looking. It's very... It makes me feel things, and a lot of them are unhappiness. I want to like you, Kiss, but I'm gonna need you to 180 your attitude a little bit faster. I'm like, we've had lots of episodes where Metadon didn't get along with the group. We're gonna need you to get along with them a little bit faster. Just a little bit faster would be nice, because you're about to turn into, like, a Milky Rose at the beginning of Yes 5 Go-Go, and I'm not really excited about it. But nonetheless, they still kind of nod to the fact that stuff has been locked away. And this is getting a little bit more ambiguous than it was before, because you do have Kiss still, like, this is the thing that makes me mad, is that they locked away Kiss's feelings, yet she's still really possessive of Puridoon. And I hate that. I was like, you were supposed to have locked that away, put that away. Why is she now behaving very still possessive? like, she's possessive, but she doesn't have that formal attachment anymore. I don't know, I don't like it. It's making me kind of annoyed. They're falling back on some traditional writing that I thought we left back 15 years in the past. We'll see. We'll see how it wasn't egregious this episode, but it was not it's giving me some red flags. It's giving red flags that I don't want. But back to me trying to like Kiss. I was very sad when she called her One-sama instead of calling her Netama. She's moved into, like, the respectful thing. So there is at least one example of her showing distance between her and Purirun that wasn't there before. But I don't know. It's really going to depend on how they handle it in the next few episodes. Ooh, because I wasn't a fan of this episode. In the meantime, the main thing that happens in this episode and that I'm less bothered by is the development with Uta. This episode mostly ends up being just an Uta episode with very little bit of our new duo, which is also one of the reasons why it's kind of a bummer for me, because I want to see our new characters, and I don't know if I necessarily want a whole episode dedicated to Oshikatsu, but we get an Oshikatsu episode, everybody! That's what we're teaching the kids. Uta ends up having a whole dream about Zakyun, and then, like, is trying to come to terms with whatever emotion she is feeling towards Zakyun, which we also don't fully understand what emotion she's feeling towards Zakyun. It's as ambiguous as it ever will get in Japanese. But clearly these two are taking the nation, and not just with our main group. They're going worldwide. I also can only imagine, like, we obviously saw that Kiss recorded their concert, but one of these two broadcasted it. We knew Purirun previously had social media skills, but, like, would she have enough motivation to post her video online, or has, like, you know, Metadon, being her biggest fan, learned social media and posted the two of them? I'm curious which of the two actually posted the content. And in the meantime, we have Uta being as distracted as possible. I also like that they always throw in some flowers, and I should probably pay more attention to flower language, but shout out to the hydrangeas in the scene. They get fully animated too. They're not just, like, they're fully animated. The most animation we get in this episode. Uta's at school, and her ability to learn is gone. Only Zakyun. Which I do find it interesting that she's, like, super into Zakyun, and she doesn't mention Kiss at all. That's just a little interesting. But, like, I guess it's just that, like, Purirun connection, where she and Purirun really built that bond together. But yeah, we see that the Zakyun Kiss is taking over the nation. I think it's funny because they all refer to them with their cure names, but, like, they're not acknowledging that all of the cures, technically speaking, are all cures. They should be grouped together. They're like, it's Cure Kiss and Cure Zakyun, not affiliated with Cure Idol, Cure Kyun Kyun, and Cure Wink. It's interesting how they handle that. And we have Nana on the case. She's like, Uta is not behaving like normal. And she's not. Uta has clearly come down with a severe case of Oshikatsu. I also like that we have this fourth wall break with Kyun Kyun, where she's, you know, going on their normal club activities, new idols that they're all in love with, but she's sidebarring, like, those two girls were very suspicious, and that clearly has something to do with the cure stuff we do, and we don't know what's going on with them and where we're allied, and it's just real suspicious. But who cares? We're standing them. Like, how can you not stand these beautiful, beautiful ladies? I also want to just put it out there, because this is how I've been feeling. I love just how gender Zakyun is. Because, like, she's a girl, we got confirmation that she's a girl, and she's obviously got a girly look for her idol form, but at the same time, there's something that just feels very, like, gender non-conforming to me. I don't know what it is, but I'm like, she just feels so gender. I don't know how to explain it. I find that part of her very interesting, and I really like it. At the end of the day, I really like Kiss and Zakyun's design so much. She kind of reminds me of Henri from Hagato. I don't know, I'm very attached. So we then, with Uta being sick, we have gone to Dr. Kokoro to solve the mystery of what illness is plaguing her. And she's like, you've got a fever. You've got idol fever! And thus begins the explanation of Oshikatsu, which the translation translates it as swamp, which, like, I guess, listen, okay, I don't know if you, like, I know the word oshikatsu because I've been in the VTuber space and they've adopted that from like being a J-pop fan. I've never been like a hardcore J-pop or K-pop fan, so like I've never gone that deep down that rabbit hole, but VTubing has allowed me to learn what oshikatsu is, and we just call it oshikatsu. But I get that for the sake of this series, that's such a like niche thing that they have to translate it as something. But God, swamp has such bad connotations, especially in America, where I'm like, don't call it swamp. Don't translate it as anything else. Just be like mega fan or a stan. Don't call it. Stanning would be so much better than swamp. Swamp just sounds so bad. But Kokoro explains in depth why it's called swamp, where it's like you're drowning in your favorite idols, and they use swamp visuals, and that's why we decided to translate it that way. But God, I just call it standing. If we have to use some kind of English word for it, don't. Why do we got it? Oshikatsu or stand? I don't like it. I don't like it being called swamp. Nonetheless, the whole concept for a crash course on some quick oshikatsu. Oshikatsu is just fan culture, but specifically the flavor of fan culture. I am aware of that's specific to Japan idol culture. I think it varies a little bit when it comes to K-pop and other different idol types, like American idols or stuff like that. But Oshi, I at least know, means the thing you like, and this being like your Oshi or your Kami Oshi or your god favorite is your number one idol that you like the most above all the rest. So they're getting asked essentially who their Kami Oshi is. Who in the idol lineup is your numero uno? And I think this scene is very cute because they ask Nana and she's like, everybody but Wink, which, girl, I get you there. When you're like, I like everybody but me. I'm not gonna say myself is my favorite, which I'm not gonna lie, I feel like Kokoro would be like, yeah, Kyun's number one. But I think it's super cute because the other fan club members are like, we like Wink, and you see Nana be like, oh my god, people like me. And then Kokoro's like, why are you being embarrassed? It's not like you're Wink or anything. It's fair. It's a pretty cute scene, I'll give it that. And then of course we get to Uta, who's like, I like everybody, especially Wink and Kyun, because they're my besties. But she's also like, but Zakyun makes me feel a certain type of way, and I'm like, oh, there it is. There's your Oshi. It's kind of cute to see her, like, go all in, and she has this bit where she's at the cafe, and she's like, just thinking about how cool and amazing she is has motivated me to do everything, and I just, like, I'll be honest, it's kind of weird to see Precure actually be educational about the topics that are the theme of the season. Surprisingly enough, that doesn't happen very often. Though, to be fair, Wonderful was better than most seasons. It's funny just to see them be like, we're gonna be so factual and informative about idol culture in our idol season. And I'm like, that's what we must teach the kids. Like, kids, you should fall in love with stuff and want a lot of merch from those things because it will give you the motivation to get through your day and do your best. Which I'm like, okay. Okay. I also, this one thing the show has not made a clear stance on, which other, like, idol fan shows have typically discussed a little bit more, but I get that they don't discuss it as much with a kids show, is the line between being a fan of something and then being in love with something. And honestly, in reality, there is a huge blurred line there, because there are definitely fans who would be like, I mean, if my Oshi asked me out, I wouldn't say no. But there's also, like, a level of fan culture where it's like, we all love and we are fans of this thing, but they're everyone's idol. And we all love them together. And it's a weird thing where we're all fans, but none of us actually want to be in a relationship with this person. Like, the line between being in love with the thing that you're a fan of and then just respectfully being like, I enjoy their content, is always such a very weird line with idol series, or like series that cover fans of idol series. And I feel like this series has not made a great stance on where they stand on that. And it's the reason why it's weird is for, well, two reasons for me personally. One, it's like, okay, when you guys were fans of Kaito, were we like just fans, or was there romantic undertoning there? And then now that we're with Zakyun, is there romantic undertoning here? Is it going to be a love triangle? Because I kind of don't really want there to be this love triangle between Purirun, Merodon, and Uta. I don't know. I kind of wish they would just clarify that, but I know they don't want to, and they don't feel like it. But for my peace of mind, it'd be nice if they did. And then we have these two, where they actually vaguely address what's gone on with Cuddy. Because Zakuri's like, where's that guy at? What happened with him? And I like that. It's interesting, because we get a very vague answer. Where, like, he was consumed by the darkness, which we know that he was fine. So the question now, there's three paths that could potentially go down for Cuddy. Where I think what's most unlikely is that he did get attacked again after he walked off last episode. I think that's unlikely. I think they would have showed us something if that actually happened. But the other two possibilities are that she's lying here, and she doesn't want to reveal to him that you can walk away from the gang. Or what I think, in my personal opinion, is what's going on here is that Darkine has communicated that she done got him in the darkness, and they don't know what his fate was after that. Neither of them have paid much attention to what occurred after he got attacked by Darkine, so they genuinely don't know. They just kind of thought he died. So it'll be interesting. I also think it's interesting that they didn't show us what happened with Cuddy at all in this episode. I mean, it's not the first one. There's plenty of seasons where the villain gets purified and they just kind of walk off in the sunset, and they'll pop back up a few episodes down the line. So, I mean, I feel like me and other fans are like, we wish we knew what happened to the bad guys after they stopped being bad guys. But nonetheless, unless the team really loves that bad guy, you typically don't see them for a while. I know a certain Kabaton fan out there. It took a couple episodes for us to see what happened to Kabaton post being evil in Hodogaru Sky, while another villain who was post-villainy got lots of screen time because the writers clearly loved him. But that's neither here nor there. Speaking of getting characters out of the show, we have Tanaka being interestingly set up to be slid out of the show for a couple episodes. He's like, I haven't heard from Pikirine and Purirun and Merodon, so I'm just gonna go to Kiraki Land and figure out what the heck happened to them. So I guess we're losing him for a couple episodes, which I guess makes sense, because if anybody was going to be a logical person for Kiss and Zakyun to go to, since clearly Kiss is keeping them away from the main team, it would have been Tanaka. Like, Purirun obviously knows Tanaka. I guess Merodon doesn't, and maybe this is the reason why they went with Merodon not knowing Tanaka, because it would have made sense if Kiss just went to Tanaka and was like, hey, we're gonna be idols, but don't tell the others. But I guess they're trying to keep the two groups independent and remove Tanaka of being the potential bridge that he would function as. But it does bring up one very interesting topic to me, which is that Pikirine has not been communicating, and I don't really know why. Like, after the lock business went down, I don't know if Pikirine was aware of that. She does seem to have some omniscient ability to know what's going on with the fairies. But, like, I don't know why she hasn't communicated to the group what's up. Like, I don't know if, like, the use of the lock sucked out her power or something. Like, it's actually quite a plot hole at the moment for why Pikirine is not communicating. But I guess that'll get addressed whenever Tanaka comes back. Whenever this guy shows back up in the series. But we're writing another man off the show. We got rid of Cuddy. And let's be honest, Kaito has been missing in action for a while now. They made him real important, and then they made him real unimportant. But hey, he got a plushie and an acrylic, so we have not seen the last of Kaito, and whatever his full-time purpose is in this show. Maybe he'll just show back up in the movie and have some special role there. But man number 3 has been moved off the board, and now we're just down to the girls. Girls' night. And on to the rest of the episode, we have our next victim, which I think this has been a clever way, because we've had a couple of victims the last few episodes that have been pretty irrelevant from the group, or irrelevant from what's happening, because they're just like, oh wait, we need to have somebody be the victim. I think it's cute that they tied this character in being the victim, on the grounds that she's a cure Kiss, because also there's been so much Zakyun discussion in this episode. There's been very little love for Kiss, but I like that they've tried to kind of balance that by having a character be like, I really like Kiss. I want to make my hairstyle like her. I thought that was cute and clever. I thought that was pretty clever of them. There's some level of balance, being like, people like Kiss too. It's not just them loving Zakyun, because Uta loves Zakyun. But then we get to where there are some highs and there are some low lows in this episode. We have the fight, and this fight is doesn't... I call this the mid-season curse. Because if there's anything that happens frequently in Precure that I've come to terms with, is that when you have mid-season cures, you have to make the main team significantly weaker in order for these mid-season cures to be more powerful and cool and make you want to buy their merch. Because there's no decent excuse, really, for why the cures are just overall so crappy in this fight. Because it made sense when they went up against, like, Super Katinda. It made sense that they were weak against him because he's this huge powered-up general. Like, that's fine. But they just have regular old schmegular old Zakati this episode. And he's kicking their butts. Like, Wing's shield doesn't work because shield cures always have to take that hit. They always have to be the people who are showcased to suck. Sorry, shield cures. And just everybody just gets beaten up and they're like, oh, I guess we need our mid-season cures to come in and save the day. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just because they handled this better and Wonderful. I hate to see the nerf. They could have written it somewhat better, or had Miss Ma'am on Team Villain come in and serve, because she's more powerful. It would have made sense that she would kick their butts a little bit more. But nonetheless, we kind of get this lackluster fighting. But we do get to see our mid-seasons do some mid-scenery. We get this kind of pose, too, that they do, which I wonder, like, obviously we don't see their transformation yet. I wonder if this is symbolic of what their final pose when they finish transforming is, where they have, like, their hands up in the air, because it is an oddly specific pose. And we also get this cute line where Zakyun is like, I'm here to protect Cure Idol. So I do like, again, that we have the memory bleed come out, where she still has, like, this connection with Idol and still wants to protect her, as well as it sets these guys up as not being too antagonistic, because, like, sometimes we have mid-season cures who are like, I'm not going to join your team because I don't like you guys. We've had that a couple of seasons, and it's always kind of annoying for several episodes before they learn to be friends. But again, when we don't have a super good excuse, like in Wonderful, it can be annoying. But I'm glad that's not really here. There is hints there's a future titled episode where it's like Team Zakyun Kiss versus the regular Idol team. I think that's going to be just a misleading title. I think it's a little red herring, and they're going to do like a game show kind of situation where it's like they have a game show against each other. I don't think like they're genuinely going to fight against each other, because there's not really any decent reason for these two teams to like really go head to head and fight over anything. And I doubt Zakyun wants to. But I'm glad that it's not overly antagonistic in the way some mid-seasons have been, historically. Oh, and then there's the part of the battle I don't like. I know we busted out the budget for the last few episodes, but I really wish whoever was in charge of this stopped trying to do overhead shots. Like, the reason why these screenshots look absolutely abysmal is they're attempting and failing at having the perspective of the camera being significantly above the characters and looking down on them. That's why these heads are so massive. But God, these screenshots, they're so... Every time these characters are talking and they're not doing something in stock footage, it looks horrendous. And I'm like, if you cannot handle the more complex angles, don't do them. Just have the camera face them normally. Because the big head thing looks real janky. Like, even shots like these aren't fantastic, but these are more excusable shots. And you have a moment where, again, this is where I'm frustrated with Kiss. Because you have, like... It'd be one thing if Kiss was still kind of cold to Uta, because she always was cold to Uta. But you have somebody like Kyun Kyun who's like, oh my god, it's you guys! Can't wait for us to team up! And then you kind of just get the cold shoulder from Kiss, and I was like, don't be rude to Kyun Kyun. She did nothing wrong. You have no beef with her. She has not caused you any problems. Don't be beefing with the other slightly purple character. Don't you be doing that. I don't like it. It makes me mad. Oh, and again, it's like we're setting up to do the stock footage, but again, this perspective thing is not perspectiving quite right. The head's just, like, I get what they're trying to do, but the perspective is not correct. You guys gotta go back to school and get the perspective on point, please. Like, it's just so funky looking. I hate all these shots. But fortunately, we get the much better stock footage, yay! And we do get individual attacks for them that go along with the key and the lock. I like the way that they pick up the item from their pouch and then, like, open it as a compact. I kind of like it. There's something smooth about it that I find very pleasing. And then for the few seconds of like interesting animation we do get to see them work well as a duo, which I enjoy. Where we have Kiss put out her little like apparently multifaceted heart thingy mabobber that turns into a platform for Zakun to use. That's very cute. I really like when shows do have the magical girls use their powers to elevate the other individual, and they can get really creative. I just wish more magical girl series did this, because they talk about friendship and teamwork, and then it tends to be very individualistic. I like the little moments of teamwork, and I wish they did that more often. I think it's one of my favorite things about magical girl shows. And then we get to see Zakyun's attack, which, again, this is so just gender of her, in my opinion. Oh, well, side note, too. Different tangent. I can't remember. We surely have had cures before that have had eyeshadow, but I feel like this is the first time they've really went all in on being like, we're using eyeshadow, because I feel like eyeshadow is one of the easiest pieces of makeup they could have sold, and they just really haven't been selling eyeshadow. But I love that we're finally getting eyeshadow. Like, I mean, I've already purchased, and as I promised, I've already purchased all the merchandise for the mid-seasons, both to my chagrin and my love of merchandise. I didn't realize that this was eyeshadow, which is going to be nice, because I like eyeshadow. I think it is one of my favorite pieces of makeup. It's versatile. And when you put on sparkly pink eyeshadow, nobody's going to give you crap about being like, I can't believe you put makeup on. And it's like, yeah, my eyes are not naturally ombre blue and purple as they are right now. Believe it or not, I didn't wake up like this. But yeah, it's like she's so like, whoa, punchy. Like, it's nice because you have Kiss, who's very elegant and very like refined lady. But I like how like, yeah, punch Zakyun is. I like how gender she is. And I think it's more of a testament to the roots that they're coming from, because you had Nagisa kind of come off more masculine and you had Honoka be more feminine. But I also like the color invert, because I feel like very seldom do we see a white cure be like more like, yeah, let's throw a punch. Let's go. I love it. I really love it. I did like this. See, this is the problem, is that there's things that I love and then there's things I don't like. But I do like this. This is quite nice. Like, bazooka. Bazooka. It's so, she even in this scene, she just looks so gender. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know if I'm the only person who feels this way, but I like it. I like these two a lot aesthetically. Oh, but unaesthetically, we do have some of these screenshots where there's just, the portions feel a bit off, the eyes feel a bit off, the faces feel a little wow. Where it's like, I also just feel like this is a symptom of the designs being complex. The designs go so hard. There's many lines to be drawn. Animators are doing their best, I guess. But we do see some recycling. Like, dare I say this not be the shot we saw before, where we have Miss Kiss grab the little bow? Is that not what had occurred last episode? Are we recycling? I mean, it's fine, I suppose. Before we had like the little Puriloon snatch thing, but they had some variants on it. I don't know. Like, you know what? I'll take the recycling of the animation, because this was a good shot. They did a good job last episode with this sequence. In the meantime, we have Idol melt in awe, which, you know, low-key same. Low-key same. The two of them are delightful to watch. And we have this cute reaffirmation of Zakyun being like, I will protect you, Idol. That's my goal. And I was like, that technically speaking was your wish. That's what you wanted to be, and you are fulfilling it, and I'm glad. I'm glad that you're doing it, even if you don't know why you're doing it. I'm glad that you're also nice to the team, and you're not just being mean alongside Kiss. Thank you. And speaking of Kiss, Kiss is like, and we gotta leave. We're leaving. We're bouncing. Almost an Irish goodbye here. And thankfully, Zakyun, with some ounce of intelligence, is like, which is very ironic at being Puriloon, is like, hey, yo, why did we ditch them? Why can't we just, like, be friendly? Because wouldn't that make a lot of sense if we just allied up? And then, of course, Kiss, turns into her little Chunyobi self and is like, I'm gonna recite a random poem and not answer the question, and then we're just gonna leave. And I hate it. I hate it a lot. I was like, why are we doing that? But we do have Idol do the one thing that I don't understand why other series don't, where she's like, We saw where they went. We can just follow them. She's like, I'm just gonna go after Zakyun, because why not? Why are we just gonna let them go off into the sunset when I can just literally follow them? And then, like, you have Wink and Kyun Kyun being like, what? Then it's like, that's not how media is written. And I was like, that's the way media should be written, because I cannot tell you how many series they're like, off goes that mysterious person. I'm like, follow them. You have questions. They have answers. Just follow them. Just be a stalker and follow them home and figure out why the heck they're being so mysterious and ornery for no reason. And I stand idle for that. I don't know how much fruition this will come to in the next episode. I imagine it will probably play out one of two ways. One, she races to find them, and then they're nowhere to be found, and then we just go back to being normal. Or, what is showcased at the preview, which I usually don't go over the previews, but I'm gonna go over the preview. We do see that we will be getting what I can only imagine is what I deserve, which is their civilian forms, because they better get human civilian forms. Because what else could this, like, oddly yellowish kind of spring green hair with a very weird horse ear sticking out of it and ribbons? Who could that possibly be? I swear to God, if this is not civilian form Pootie, I will riot. I deserve their civilian forms. If Tanaka can get a human form, they can too. But yeah, I think it would be funny if, like, Idol chases after them and they just have human forms. It'll be interesting, that's all I'll say. But I hope the next episode we, like, move forward with these guys a little bit more. Like, I get that they're drip feeding it to us, where, like, this episode, all we really got from them was, like, a solo attack. And the fact that Purirun still likes Idol is pretty much the two nuggets of information we received in this episode. And I know it's gonna be slow. I know it's always slow, but I'm impatient. Like, I feel like, depending on how it's handled, like, again, I handled the slow burn of last season with grace and enjoyment. This season, I'm impatient. This season, I want it now. I want to see their civilian forms. I want to see their specialized acrylics. I want to see it all. And I don't want to wait. I want it now. Toa, you post that stuff on social media. I think there's hints on the website, too, that these, like, they have pages ready for them to have civilian forms. They just haven't uploaded the images and given the code the go to make that go live. So I think there's, like, honestly, without a shadow of a doubt, there's definitely going to be civilian forms. But I'm like, y'all are just teasing us with 2 weeks of wait time before we finally get these delectable civilian forms and see what these cuties look like when they're not magical. And I want it now. Oh my god, how was I patient last season? I'm so impatient now. Oh well. It is what it is. It's the writing. I can't tell if that's a symptom of the writing being really good or the symptom of the writing not being as good. I don't know. Maybe it's just different. Anyways, I will see you guys in next week. So until then, bye-bye!